Welcome to Level Up Tribes. Level Up Tribes provides resources to help you attain the necessary resources to level up your mind, body, and soul and realize your full potential. It is about exploring, learning, providing you with the tools from the experts for you to create a better version of yourself. I am your host, Agnes Goodwine, and welcome, Tribes. Today, I have the honor to share space with JC Donaldson, fashion designer and creator of Being Dapper, a dashing lifestyle apparel for the modern man. Thank you, JC, for allowing me to share space with you this morning. Yes. I'm so excited to meet you. And let's dive in.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me on your show. It's an honor that you reached out. I was like, wow, okay, cool.
I'm excited.
Yeah, this is great. This is great.
Talk to me through your journey that led to becoming a fashion designer.
Well, that's not what I wanted to be initially, right? I've been a fashion blogger since 2011. That's what the Roman numerals stand for. So that stands for 2011, or the IVMMXI underneath my logo. That's so it stands for April 2011. So that's when we started Being Dapper. And really, I can't take all the credit for it, right? My mom, was the one that really pushed me towards doing that. And there was a reason for it. She was like, hey, you're always dressed well and, you're out there. People are always looking at your clothes. Why don't you, blog about it? And at the time, Facebook, they had it was originally on Blogspot. So it was like a dedicated place for bloggers, So then Facebook recently at that time had added a fan page. So fan pages started blowing up. So I was one of those new fan pages. I should have, the biggest regret is really pushing it and taking advantage of it, because I probably would have had like 10, 20,000 fans by the time, because they constantly keep changing the algorithm. But that's how we got started. So we talked about financial literacy, etiquette, traveling, and of course fashion. And then I would do these, and then I took it to another level, which we talked about earlier about traveling. Yeah. And I would literally do what they called the Being Dapper show. I didn't know what I was doing. I would record it on a camera and just talk about wherever I was going and talk about the culture, because guys, again, young guys at the time, I think I started this show, almost 10 years ago. So a lot of people were not traveling, especially young guys who were scared. I get it. Guys are going to be guys. They're going to be insecure about, not going to talk about, hey, I want to go to that place, but I really don't know about that place. And then having a youthful face on there, just kind of explain what it's like in the experience. I thought that would be pretty cool.
Talk to me about the younger you, because I know that, and I think I've read somewhere that you were kind of dabbing into the fashion. Yeah. Even at your younger age.
Yeah, I've always been, there's a picture of me, I think on Instagram, if anybody goes and finds it, but it's a picture of me as a baby. Like a friend of mine laughed and was like, oh, I bet you're dapper out the womb. I was like, technically you're right. I was. So there's a picture of me and my dad, Happy Father's Day. Love, Sergeant Donaldson out there. My dad holding me, and I have like a little tie and a dress shirt on, and I had to been like maybe a couple months, maybe a year, and so I didn't know that was the plan, but that's the master plan. Yes. So it started that way.
Had a blueprint. Already.
It was already it's already, and then you become the fashion journey through blogging, and then I did that for a while. Was kind of in college, kind of try to keep up. Didn't really again understand YouTube. It really took a lot because I had a small company at the time, going to school full time, and then also working another full time job. So we're really running a company, going to school full time, and doing all that, and then still trying to take some time to blog about stuff.
Yes, and that takes time.
It does. It takes a lot of time. And then back in 2000 and when I get here, like 2014, I moved to Phoenix, and it was really interesting. They had a Phoenix Fashion Week. And I attended. I got here like in August, September. They had their preliminary fashion show. I was like, Fashion Week in Phoenix? That's interesting, right? So I went. It's at Talking Stick in October, and I was like, oh, this is neat. And it was really high production. It was really impressive. I was like, this is really, really nice.
Let me go back a little bit to your blog.
Yeah.
When it started growing in 2011, like how did that blossom to where you are like today? Like who was hitting you up and who was reaching out to you to make you say, you know what, I can make this bigger than what it is?
No.
What was going on?
It was really just coming to Phoenix, and I think at that time some people were asking, you should, at that time, I think we were coming out of the recession and people still weren't really buying luxury clothes. So I came up with an idea in 2014, shortly after I said, let's do some men's accessories. I think I can do that. Because I had to order some flower lapels, and I looked at them. I was like, I can make these,
Right.
So I started making flower lapels, really. I started at really, 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 really small stuff, simple stuff. And then I said, okay, I'm going to take it to the next level. I sold a couple to my friends. And then I started going to local clothiers in the city, and people liked them. They bought them wholesale.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So then that's when the people were like, well, why don't you just, why don't you make a T-shirt or something, like a Dapper T-shirt? Because I noticed in the scene in Phoenix, it's very casual, and nobody seemed like everybody's like, it's like, throwing water on a cat.
Right.
Everybody's like, suits. I don't want to wear them. I hate
it's like
them.
108 right now.
I understand all that, but I'm gonna tell you, we'll talk about that too, about temperatures and,
Right.
and fabrics and all that stuff. But yeah, but it was just like guys were not presenting themselves, period, well. I mean, it wasn't like, it was ridiculous. Like, I mean, the scene of fashion was not that great. So I said, you know what, put a nice, I call it a Dapper gentleman's T-shirt. Put a nice one of my gentleman's T-shirt, has a really cool graphic on it. You wear it with a blazer, you go out on a date. I mean, I think that would be appealing. And I started with that. And then other ideas, like this is around 2012, other ideas, and they invited me to come to the Phoenix Fashion Week for the boot camp and stuff. Shout out to Kim, and I told Kim no. I think I told Kim no for 3 years almost. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Every year I go Phoenix Fashion Week. I'll tell her no.
I didn't realize that Phoenix had a fashion week.
They do.
Finding
the director,
it opened me to so many things about Phoenix. I mean, I've been here 5 years. And yeah, so hopefully I can go to the one this fall.
Yeah, you absolutely should. Brian Hill's the director. He's also the one that creates the curriculum for the Business of Fashion, Phoenix Fashion Week, and he's really taking it to the next level. From where it's humble beginnings, right? Taking it over and then really spearheading it to the monumental success it is. It's even actually been in Time Magazine. It's no joke.
That's amazing.
Yeah, serious stuff. So.
How important is exposure? You know what I mean? Like you have exposed me to this whole new world.
Exposure is important, but after I did the boot camp, this is 2018. So last year when I did it, it was hard. It's really hard. But they want to really give you that very concentrated of what fashion is, right? Because I started off really, I thought I was like, man, I'm going to come in and with these T-shirts and I'm gonna learn the business of fashion. Right. That's all I really wanted. I wanted the knowledge. But I got so much more out of it. I learned things about myself I didn't even know. And I learned that, streetwear really doesn't matter about Phoenix. You need to be your authentic self.
Right.
That's what I learned out of it. Honestly, being your authentic self. Step into your destiny. Be who you really are and put your crown on. Because that's what being dapper. Because our motto is being dapper as a lifestyle. Our catchphrase is designing dashing apparel for the modern man. But I, as a person, is streetwear, that's only a part of a man's lifestyle, but he's so much more. So then that's when I kind of built the courage enough to go ahead and pursue the contemporary side of things and everything else.
With the boot camp, is that something that you have to apply for?
Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of designers that apply for it. A lot of them just don't make it. And they're all different levels. So there's very established designers. He's big on emerging designers starting off, they might have a presence in the market, but they just want to fine tune things. A lot of them come to different reasons, but there's really nothing like that in the country right now that has that type of level of education. Now ASU has a program, you can get your master's in that. I've considered that taking it to the next level. Yes. I've learned business of fashion, but that definitely, it's a very, very concentrated, I like to call it meat and potatoes of the fashion industry to taste, where you can it's a good foundation and you can build from there. So
you highly recommend it for
young
absolutely.
Art, young
absolutely.
Fashion. Yeah, for sure. Because and he has it online now. You can take his class online and stuff like that. So for sure, if you're lost, because there's so much coming at you, you want to boil the ocean, right? Yeah. You're I want to make this, I want to make that, but just really focusing on your demographic, focusing on your core values, so building your best practice or your policies, setting up your business plan, your marketing plan, that's what you're going to get. And ultimately, you're going to learn how to build those systems and having that constant cadence of okay, this is our timeline. This is our, yes. It really is just like anything else. Product development takes time. I've learned that too. Is don't, like I said, don't rush it. Shout out to all the emerging designers out there that are trying to build a brand. It takes a long time. It takes 2 years, really, to really make a strong presence in the market. But you got to be consistent. Don't lose your friends. Don't lose your moments. Have a work-life balance. Don't just get burnt out.
Right.
Hustle, but don't lose your mind in it either. But you need to have a balance. But perfect practice makes perfect, as my dad says.
You have to take time off, a little bit self-care sometimes, so
you
can get back into it.
Yeah, or you'll be burnt out, and you'll be broke too. Because if you're not budgeting correctly and you're not watching, or if you're eating, or they call it eating your seed, you won't succeed either. So you got to constantly reinvest, and do things that make sense. Everything's not gonna make sense it's not a perfect architected path for everybody. It's just gonna be like, do what makes sense for your brand and where it works, but be effective about it. Do your research. Be around 5 other people that are successful in the game that can teach you something. Lean on that. And like I said, there's a tons of emerging designers on Instagram. Let's start leaning on them. Reach out to them.
Do you have mentors right now that help you?
I have a few that I've spoken with one of the big clothiers like in Atlanta, Miguel Wilson Collection. He's a really sharp guy. Yeah, he's watching, and he's to call me anytime. He just has an open door. My boy out there in Florida, Rich Man Looks, he's a really good dude. He just opened up his brick and mortar. I met him at Magic. If people are not familiar with Magic, Magic's also a good place to go to really get an understanding of fashion. Don't go there trying to make a brand and trying to pretend like you're a buyer. If you don't got $10,000, $20,000 and you're not going to spend, $100, $200, $300 on minimum order quantity, don't go there for that. But what you should go to Magic for is just for the free seminars. A lot of people don't know there's free seminars at Magic.
Is there a website for that?
Just go type in Magic Fashion Show, and then there you can go to seminars. They have one in Vegas and they have one in New York.
Okay, good to know. JC, in your opinion, what is the biggest challenge in the field of fashion?
The biggest challenge, sales, of course, but also development. Product development is really hard. It can be quite difficult to develop a product and have dependable factories, dependable folks. A lot of people in the game are very flaky. Yeah, and a lot of them don't have your best interests at heart.
It's a tough game.
It is. You're a gladiator. You're always trying to protect your brand, and people, I guess, they don't really think, or they're thinking they overlook you sometimes. They take you for granted, or especially when you're trying to take you seriously.
Yes.
Well, I can get it down here and all that. I said, yeah, I know. If you go to the bread aisle, at your neighborhood grocery store, there's tons of bread, but somebody's buying it, right? If that wasn't because it's variety. People like variety. So you comparing me to that brand is irrelevant because I'm not that brand. I have a different mission statement, I have a different value add. So you buy from brands that you like. We're building relationships because mine is more of a relationship based brand. That's also what I'm learning about more. Mine is not. I'm not a mass producer or anything like that because it's custom.
Right, and I was going to ask you that. What stands you out from everybody else?
Yeah, it's custom. It's custom.
Yeah.
It's what you want. It's not going to be off the rack. I have some pieces off the rack, but majority of my work is custom. So, I get a kick out of it. It's fun. You give me a sketch, you give me a picture, you get inspired, and then we build you something amazing. That's amazing. And then at a good price point, not where it's like I'm just out. Oh yeah, I know it's your wedding coming up, so I'm about to gouge you. It's not. That's not. I mean, of course, we want to be profitable, but I'm not ridiculous.
How tough is it, JC, to be an African American young male in this industry?
Hard.
Can you be honest?
Yeah, I can be honest. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. As an African American, I'm sure nobody says it without saying it.
Right.
Being taken seriously, so everything has to be perfect. I feel like you just have to be at a different level. There's everybody else, and then there's you. They say, "Or this is us," right? And that's why I'm really, really trying to go very hard, and really look at every little thing. I just have to cover all bases and how the bag is, the experience. If you want to be a Tom Ford, you got to give Tom Ford and the Tom Ford experience. You want to be Dolce & Gabbana, you got to get Dolce & Gabbana experience. And it's not really hard. I don't see my color holding me back. I think it's one of the greatest assets I can ever have. Proud to be a gentleman of color because, I look at the world a little different, right? So, everybody loves, when we come out with the flavorful food and the sauces and the type of music that we bring to the table, and you can kind of pour into that same spirit, that fun, that spice, right, into in the clothing. So like I said, I'm on both sides. So I'm also time and place, right?
Yes.
So if it's time to be conservative, I know how to do that too. But then when it's time to it's your birthday party and you really want to show out, I can show you some pieces, or we can build you something that's very flashy. I want to make sure that my ultimate goal is that you're happy and that you look good and you're confident. We want you to be dapper.
Do you think that you will continue to just focus on the male fashion industry? Would you ever
I've already done what you're asking.
Really?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Well, it's already kind of I'm laying the groundwork for it.
Okay.
It's already been done. People, shout out to the clients that already have some of my clothing that have never been announced. Yeah. So yeah, it's already done. You're referring to women's clothing.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a total different. That's
beast.
a total beast in itself. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it's a total different thing. That takes a ton of work. So, but again, going back to that bull in the ocean metaphor, it's like stick to men's fashion, but be open. That's what we call our house, the Donaldson side of the house. Well, that's fully custom. So that really it's agnostic, right? So men and women's wear are welcome. So if a woman was to come to us and say, hey, you know what, I got to get ready for XYZ, and I have a function or a gala, I have the infrastructure now to do so. But again, it takes time. I didn't really want to jump into the market like that until I had reliable folks that could do it. So now I have some reliable staff. And that's really what takes, you asked me about like fashion. Product development takes a long time because you have to get the samples. You got to make sure that it is of quality and that you would buy it yourself. If you're not going to buy it yourself, no need to actually design it. Period.
How many people do you have on your team?
I have about 5 folks.
Okay.
Yeah, about 5 folks. I have a couple of marketing people now. I have my dressmakers, a seamstress, and then I have my little, I call them my little centers around the city that people go and get their measurements done.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Who has influenced you the most in regards to fashion?
I just like Tom Ford's practical approach. Mm-hmm. Ralph Lauren's also, I like his style too because it's really preppy. It's nice. But Tom Ford, really, really inspired me a lot because it's just that simple elegance. He doesn't do anything too crazy, but he's like, oh well, we'll taper the jacket like this. And also his marketing campaigns. I'm a marketing guy. His marketing campaigns are outrageous. So eventually we want to start to do marketing campaigns that are a little bit over the top to get the people's that shocking attention, because fashion still is an art form to me. That's how I look at it. It's a form of expression. Right. You dress well, dress how you want to be addressed.
Yes.
Right. And then when you walk in the room, the clothing does the majority of the talking every time. Time. So it's like people are analyzing you. They're gonna see you see your clothing before they even talk to your personality.
Yes. And I see that a lot in my profession,
okay.
Actually. But that was one of the questions, and you're jumping ahead of me, so I'm going to ask it now, is in what ways do you think our clothes influence our mindset and how we feel about ourselves? And you just said, how people see you. How important is that in regards to your mindset?
It's everything. I feel like depending on, it makes a world of a difference as far as, but people in certain markets, people will have you drinking Kool-Aid. It's not important. It's not important. No, you're trying to set the market. Who are you? You're trying to tell this person that my life, this is how I run my life. Again, run your race.
Yes.
You're trying to influence your friends to oh man, I don't want him to, he or she to one up me, right? You're worried about that because that's the insecure problem.
Yes.
So if you feel like you want to dress well and you feel that dressing well, because dressing well, as Tom Ford says, dressing well is a form of good manners. I truly believe that. And I love that statement. That's 100% true. Being groomed, smelling good, taking care of your body, putting on the right apparel at the right time. You don't have to be suited and booted all the time, but there's a time there. Don't come to, interviews, weddings. Yes. Those are the mandatory things that we just know we need to be on.
It's so important, especially with interviews. I conduct interviews.
Oh, okay.
There's times where, there's people, especially guys that come in with really big suits.
Yeah.
I don't see that because I look past the person, but there are some people out there that that's the first thing that they look at,
Absolutely. Yep. Being impeccable,
Yes.
everybody can't afford a custom suit, but everybody can afford to go and for the $20, $30, $40, go see a seamstress and get that, or a tailor to get that tightened up.
There you go. You hear it?
You can go down to, if you need to go and get you a little used suit at Goodwill, quality one, and then get it tightened up. Do so. Don't come in there looking sloppy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The people are going to, they're not going to tell you, but yeah, they saw it. They saw it. So it really just, you're your own business card. So represent it well. They're going to see your skills, and then like, all right, I'm looking at his apparel, it just doesn't add up. Or I'm looking at her apparel, it just doesn't add up to the job. So you always,
it gives you a confidence anyway.
Absolutely.
When you dress up and you show up and you're looking sharp, it just does everything for you.
Sure. Sure.
It's so important.
Right. Walk with your head, walk with your chest.
Confident.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can tell that. Like I said, of course, you're the man or the woman inside the apparel, and you're gonna really, really wear it as how you wear it. Because some people buy brands, based on the name or brand equity. That's just not enough. It's really, like I said, we do it. That's why I said we do it. Being dapper as a lifestyle. It's like everything. It's who you are as a person. It's how you think. Is what you're talking about. So then the clothes are an added caveat to the person that it is, and then it aligns. So if you're a gentleman, or a lady, you put on those clothes, it just amplifies what's already there. Like I said, I'm not recreating the wheel. There's 1,000 suit makers out there, but we're just leading from a different mantra, a different mindset, and that's what makes it stand out in the market. Yeah, because then also, of course, what you want, and I don't force. I consult.
Yes.
So some clothiers will tell you, no, that's not the thing. That's not the thing. Okay, where are you going? Mm-hmm. Maybe you want to wear that. Okay, well, you know what? I wouldn't wear this. You can get this, but I would wear it to this, but I wouldn't wear it to that. Okay. This is how you say stuff.
Let's just say, for example, if a young man, is trying to level it up, and needs help, can they reach out to you and say, okay, and you will kind of give them
we can do a style consulting. Okay. Yeah, we do style consulting. So yeah,
that's
if you need, if it's current wardrobe, of course you charge a little fee. It's like 2 hours minimum. But yeah, we can do that. I do personal shopping if need be, if they need to get ready for something. Because again, I get it. Everybody has different budgets, and they're like, oh man, I want to buy something, but it's this right now. And like I said, I always tell guys all the time, guys kill me with all their excuses. Oh, I got to lose weight, man, or I got to wait for this. I'm like, dude, you can start off with an accessory.
Yes.
You can start off with some shoes. You're driving the dollar somewhere. Big brand department stores are getting it. It's just that you don't value my brand enough. And I'm just keeping it 100.
Yes.
Seriously. It's like, it's not that you are not going to buy it. You're not going to just buy it from me. Right. Politely, yes. You don't believe in what we have to offer. Right. You don't believe that, and until people start looking into brands that are high quality, and even though they're not in the supposed, honestly, at this point now as a fashion designer, if I'm buying other people's design, I'm looking for other unique fashion designs. I don't want what everybody else got.
Right.
I don't want to be a gingerbread man.
Right.
Everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because if when you look around, you walk around, you're like, man, I know that jacket that he must have picked. You know what I mean? Do you want to look like that?
Right.
That's this is a shout out to all the people that are listening to this podcast. Like, do you really want to look like everybody else? Right. Is that the move?
Right. Be different.
Yeah. Like, who are you as a person? Right. Do you? And then you can still do individualism, but you can do it at the same price point, but you got to seek out brands that are unique and different and step out on them and start believing in them because every time I feel like somebody makes a purchase from me, it's not to make me wealthy. It drives my brand to better exposure because you're advertising for me, and also you're advertising for yourself. He's like, okay, I believe in a local brand. I believed in a minority-owned brand, and that is doing really, really amazing work, and I'm giving them a shot. Right. Because you've already given everybody else a shot.
Right. I see it as a partnership. If I come to you and I say, JC, this is what I'm looking for, I don't really have a sense of style, but maybe if we talk about it out loud and maybe I can find my sense of style and then kind of run from there, and you have helped me and I'm helping you at the same time. Sure. It's just, that's what it is.
Yeah. When you buy clothes from fashion designers, you technically make us immortal. Because when the picture is taken, after everything, when the lights go off and We're all gone from this earth. People will still remember the pictures. Right. So our work goes on. So when you take that picture, it's really deep. So you take that picture your wedding day or that promotion, we were there. As a fashion designer, we really care about the way you look. We care about how you feel. So we listen. Yes. We try to do our very best to really come up with clothes that appeal. I mean, because every fashion designer is different. They design for whatever reason. But again, my mission statement is more or less is really to bestow confidence upon my clients and making sure they look and feel good. And there's quality materials, Yes.
Let's go back to your influence. We were talking offline and you mentioned your mom.
Oh, yeah.
And you said it in a way like so proud. And as a mother myself, we have to talk about your mama. So what influence did your mom played on in regards to your journey?
Everything. So the name, all that. So, my mom had a lot to do with that and pushing me. I told her no. I'm a stubborn person at first, but, keep working on me. And I'll be like, all right, I get it. Let's go. But she talked about, she's like, you should call yourself Being Dapper because people call you that. I was like, that's terrible. That's corny. But and I did it, and then people liked it, and then, but she's a sculptor, she's a painter, musician, multifaceted, multi-talented, in every regard. So I was raised around the museum. I was raised around classical music. Very cultured person. She is a graphic designer. She owned her own graphic design firm for nearly 20 years.
Awesome.
Me and my parents met at University of North Texas. That's where she got her graphic design degree at. That was it. She worked as a while in corporate America doing graphic design, but she wanted to raise me. So she said, I can do this. Wow. So raised me. Kind of funny part of the story is being raised around that, I ended up helping my parents or my family with the moving from the analog or hand-drawn to digital.
Okay.
I didn't have any sense when I was a child. I was like a little computer genius, but I was helping her move from, hand-drawing. And that's a lot of work in that.
Yeah.
To like scanners, Adobe. So when I had my computer, so I would help them along with all their projects, the transitioning. Right over to those type of applications and stuff. So I've been raised in all my life. So the creative, to be able to create and look at colors and say, that makes sense. I like that. Or it just comes.
I love it.
Flowing. So mom's been there all the way rooting for me. I really appreciate that. And my parents, my whole family, my sister, my brother-in-law, even my niece, were able to come to Phoenix Fashion Week to support me that night, which I really appreciated. It was great to have my family there and people. Love the show as well,
You shared this a little bit earlier, but I want to talk more about it just in case those that are listening have never experienced a fashion show like myself. So walk me through it.
What's it like? Yeah.
What is it like from the beginning to the end, and in more details, how the Emerging Designer Bootcamp was. To you, like in detail, just in case there's someone out there that's listening that is, trying to be where you are today, but they're just starting out.
It was a really incredible experience for me. Fashion shows in general are super stressful. A lot of times, what we ask for as designers, and we never get it. I don't know why. Shout out to the people that make the fashion shows. I know who your other fashion guides. Please give us our measurements in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and so we can make apparel that fits,
Okay.
And that seems like a common factor. I've just noticed, and some designers might be listening to this like, yeah, he's right. Like they're late. They think that we have magical factories in the back. Some of us do, some of us, but even if we were doing it freehand, right, or sewing it ourselves, I think it just is a common courtesy or professional courtesy to give us the measurements in advance so we can work on the pieces correctly. And we always get them 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in. It's ridiculous. Yeah, like not enough time for us to really formulate. Sometimes it's better, right? But again, what I learned also in Phoenix Fashion Week is over communicate. You really gotta, in fashion, you constantly gotta repeat yourself and stuff because some people get it falls through the cracks. That way that everybody's on the same page. You gotta constantly like, what are we doing? What time? Again, what are we doing? What time? Where is this? Making sure in confirmation. And like I had to make a call, I think, for I have a little fashion show next week. To
Here?
someone. Yeah, yes,
Okay.
in Phoenix. Yeah, so Locked on the Runway. That's the one. So it's going to be with people with dreads. You can go to that.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's next week's. But it's about the dreads and in the workplace and looking neat and going back to the grooming.
God,
Absolutely,
yes.
I called and followed up with them, just to say, hey, where our models at, we're meeting today. But again, you constantly got to have communication in this business, and but going back to the Phoenix Fashion Week experience, it was incredible. It was eye-opening, brutal, learned a lot, but it's a boot camp. So you're going to go through the process.
Did you do the boot camp first and then followed by the fashion
Yes,
show
yeah,
week?
that's how it works. So you got you got to get through the boot
So
camp.
there's a lot going on for you.
Oh man,
So last year was crazy for you then.
insane.
Okay.
Like I blinked and it was gone.
Oh my God.
So right around this time, June, that's when, or say July, that's when it gets cracking. So it was like 4 or 5 months of just rigorous activity.
Is it an all day workshop?
You're meeting like once a week, once or twice a week. I can't remember. It was just so much, but you meet pretty cadences once or twice a week, and then what happens is in between that you have homework, just like in college. If you might be a full-time parent, or you might be having other things going on, but that homework needs to get done. And what they're doing is they're teaching you about deadlines. People just don't care. It's not a touchy-feely industry. It's not for the faint of heart.
Okay.
So for those that it takes money, it takes time, definitely commitment, and either you're gonna perform and give it your all, or don't do it. I mean, I think that I could have even given it more, but you're gonna learn things about yourself. Again, like it's your own personal journey and it's gonna be transformative. So if you open up and give it a chance. I'm a stubborn person that by natural, and I struggle with that, but I learned a lot out of that. I've been like more open minded and really having more of a can do attitude, and like saying, okay, cool, like I see where I can improve him, and receiving that constructive feedback, because I mean, it's again, that's just a taste, but in the real world, it's much. I'm now like living it, so it's really hard. So like getting in front of the buyer, and then them analyzing it, like all that's taught. So then because the fashion show, that's what designers dream about, right? Walking on the runway and people are clapping, applauding. Nice. That's only like half. That's the fluff stuff. That's
outside looking in, that's what I'm thinking it is.
Yeah, that's exactly. All consumers think that's what they see. They don't see all the work that goes in, the mood boards and the late nights of talking to overseas plants, or even the late nights of sewing, and then talking to the buyers and getting rejected, the constant rejection, the constant chase of the sale, folks not paying their invoices on time, folks not saying that they're going to do an appointment, but they don't do an appointment, et cetera. It's like, it's really, it can take the wind out of your sails. So you constantly have a really positive spirit. Like you said, you're going to take those L's.
You really have to love this.
Yeah. Passionate.
To be like,
don't be in it for the money, be in for the passion. And like, really, really, really look at your brand. Like say, like, would really somebody wear that? Does it, I mean, honestly, not to be mean, but like, is it crude and cheap? Like if it does, I mean, if it's too over the top, I'm not saying that a brand couldn't make it, but you have to really say, where would my brand be sold, and really who is my demographic? You got to constantly, and then compare yourself to retail of how it's presented, because people remember. I spoke at Mesa Community College.
Oh, that's cool.
And I asked a girl and a lady in the crowd, and I said, hey, who's your favorite brand? She was like, Tory Burch. I said, why? And she's like, just because Tory Burch is so amazing. She makes all this stuff, right? I said, tell me about your online experience. Like when you bought something from Tory Burch. It was incredible. It came in this bag and blah, blah, blah. She went on and on. You got to be like that.
Okay. So
it's not just, it's all customer experience. So it's like, it's a authentic story.
Yes.
And customer experience. It's really important.
I'm curious, do you do a lot of those talks with younger kids in regards to fashion industry?
Sometimes, whoever invites me, I'm willing to
cool.
speak. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm willing to speak. So it's just that, and even social media, we talk about that. I talked about that at Mace Community College. We had a whole deck about everything Phoenix Fashion Week included, about what I went through and how it went.
And that's another way to build your community.
Absolutely. Yeah, being authentic, just being transparent, like, hey, this is where I'm at, this is where and a lot of people are trying to also like shortcut the system. But again, they don't even know fashion. Like, oh, you have your brand and you make it go underneath my brand. I'm like, like you can do that, but then if things go wrong, who handles the responsibility? You got to be lawyered up.
Yeah.
You got to be lawyered up. You got to be trademarked up. You got to be copyrighted up. Yeah. All the legal paperwork stuff. Nobody wants this is the work.
Yeah.
You got to have your business plan. Got to have your projections. This is everybody's the fashion show, show. That's all. That's all people see.
You got to build it up from the ground up.
Yeah, it's a real business, and if you're not, you either gotten into success or you got into destruction. But every step that you're doing, like product development, like I released, I believe yesterday. I appreciate the woman for buying my first pair of bespoke custom shoes. First order, but I put it on Instagram and. It was really, really nice. Just a really nice looking shoe, but it took me a while to actually find the right factory to make those shoes. They come out of Spain.
Oh,
but
wow.
so maybe I'll work with another factory in Italy or something later on. But again, we're constantly testing to make sure that this is the right level of a product that we want to sell to our clients. So,
JC, what keeps you motivated? Because, listening to you today, some of it is really tough. What makes you just keep going, keep pushing through?
I like the game. It excites me. It's a challenge. I'm always excited about a challenge. I want to win, and I want to give it. Figure out. I'm a puzzle person. So to me, even though as massive as fashion is like it's an abyss, it's an enigma. It's a puzzle. I'm always unlocking it, and every time I unlock another level, it's a thrill. So that's what, and also the other part of it all is a smile and satisfaction of my clients. I have a client now. I think his wedding date is today. His wedding is massive. Wow. It is massive. His 26 groomsmen or something like that.
Oh my God.
That's his groomsmen alone. I can imagine it's probably 300-400 guests there. But I know that Being Dapper is the point lead in that wedding.
Yes.
We made his entire outfit.
That's awesome.
Shirt, tie, his tuxedo jacket, his pants, his shoes, all his flower lapels. Are you going to
post any of those pictures
Of course. So it's just when they come back, when he sends them back, the professional ones. But he went to another clothier. I don't know who he was in town. The clothier said, "Oh, we make this custom." This is what I'm saying. You got to know it. When you know, you know. And like I said, some folks are taking advantage of clients, and that's no good. Integrity is everything. Just keep it, be transparent. Keep it 100. You can or you can't. Honesty is big in this industry. Just like you don't have to lie. Hey, I'm not the right fit. All right, move on. Don't even take it personal. No stands for just next opportunity. That's what I see it as.
Okay.
So
I like it.
Anyway, so he got it, and he was just so satisfied. He got supposedly he got finessed with another clothier. They said, "Oh, this is a custom suit," and he's like, "How many measures, man? Like 2 or 3." So they charged him $600 or $700 for the tuxedo jacket. Then they made him pay for the alterations. He got it. It was floppy. It wasn't good at all. It wasn't really happy. And then he came to me. I think he told me he had a guy. I reached out initially. This is what we're talking about, customer service. Mm-hmm. I said, well, if anything changes, keep us posted. We're glad to help you out. About a month later, he said, hey, didn't work out with those guys. What can you do for me? Gave him a phenomenal price. Really wanted to help him out, look out for him. It's from the bottom of my heart. And he put that thing on. I'll show you some pictures offline.
Okay.
And his face was just like, and he's a really big man. He's about 6'5", 300. Wow. Yeah, he's a big man. So I really appreciate his business, and I wish him well on his special day. It just his face was just like lit up. He just he doesn't smile. He has a rough job. He puts up a lot of stuff, and it just came off work too as well. And I gave him a glass with some ice in it, with some whiskey, and gave it over to him. And we put it. We got his fitting underway. And all my clients, that I've done suits for are really happy. One thing about it is that's the reason why I have the system of the seamstress around town to take the measurements. Eventually we can get there, or I go do it myself. Right. But it's perfect practice makes perfect. So I'd rather make it something 1,000 times perfect than make it 100 times okay. So having them do it means that cuts down time of that client, just like your accountant, just like your marketing person, because you can't do everything. That's another thing that Fittings Fashion Week teaches you. You can't do everything. You got to have a staff.
How hard is that for someone that is, I'm kind of like a control freak. So to delegate those things, because you kind of know like what you want with your business, but then kind of delegating those duties to someone else is, I don't know.
You got to diversify to be destroyed.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep it. That's it. You have to. I'm sorry, not diversify. You got to delegate or to be destroyed. So you gotta be. You think of it being a king or a queen, right? Mm-hmm. You have your kingdom. The king or queen sits at the throne and kind of delegates those tasks and says, "Hey, what the taxes look like? Okay, so how's the agriculture look? So you have to be wise, right? You have to be smart. Be like, okay, all right. I have my CPA. So how are we looking? How can we get this? I want to go out and do this. Do we have enough money in the treasury, right? Yeah. To go out and do those tasks. So you have all these people, and they're coming to him and giving, he or she reports like, okay, yes, no, we're having we're about to have famine. Oh, okay, no worries, because we had enough in the storehouse. You're a wise ruler when you have enough in the storehouse, and then you're like, oh, we can feed the people. But you have to do this, even though you still can be a control freak. But you have to balance out your kingdom. I know. You have to be. If you're trying to do it all yourself, you'll be ate up. I know. You'll get ate up. My dad says you'll get ate up like a soup sandwich. I'm like, Dad, what is ate up like a soup? He's like, you ever seen a soup sandwich, son? I'm like, yeah, bread and soup. Yeah, the bread is falling apart. Yeah. Yeah. So that's it. You just gotta. That's super important. It's just like, hey, just be released. But again, knowing enough to be dangerous. Don't be a fool. True. Don't let somebody overtalk you, and then you don't even know what you're getting yourself into. Learning the industry, like I said, iron sharpens iron. You're saying, oh, okay, I don't know that much about QC, quality control, and factories and stuff. So it's good to go visit a factory, let them walk you through. Go visit your own factories as a designer. I strongly, that's gonna happen this year. We're having a field trip. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna go visit some of the factories that I have. So I have. At this time, I have six or seven of them. Where are they? All over Turkey, Thailand, Spain. Yeah, all over the world. Yeah. To manufacture like all you guys is goods. Like that's how I do it. That's how it's supposed to be done. Suits come from different parts. These are no joke, massive factories. They're doing it for everybody in the industry. But it's good to go and visit and shake their hand. It builds a stronger relationship. Absolutely. Talk to me a little bit before we wrap everything up about your travel, because I know networking is so big. Tell me about the places that you've been to grow your company. Well, just recently last week, I just came from Toronto. Congrats to the Raptors. Right, that was a good game. We the North, right? So they won. They won that game. I was up there. I did a little mini fashion show. But really, the core focus was a couple of core objectives, right? That I was up there for is not just for wanting to go to Toronto, to also check the temperature of the fashion, and to learn because I've been to Montreal. I know Montreal fashion is what it is. I've talked to people on the street. Yes. Talking to people as designers, you should also travel. Before you do a targeted marketing campaign, go to the place that you're targeting, because looks can be deceiving, because you can assume, because it's Toronto, it's big and it's like New York. Nope. Went over there, I was like, this might not be a good fit for Being Dapper, because the way they wear their clothes. And I'm not knocking Toronto, it's just very minimal. That we don't make minimal clothes. Okay. That might not be my target demographic, right? But my brand ambassador's up there. Okay. And then he's also with Toronto Fashion Week. So, we'll be working together. He works with a couple other designers and stuff like that. So, I'll be working with him, and then I also engage with I build relationships with a lot of the models in the fashion show. So I got another 10 or 11 guys, now, on the Being Dapper side. Okay. So, wearing clothes, they can do, a lot of times now I can do remote fashion shows. Nice. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to be at the location. Like I'm doing a collaboration in Chicago photo shoot, but I'm sending my clothing to Chicago to do the photo shoot. Like I said, you don't, as designers, you don't have to always travel. You can work and collaborate.
Okay.
So I can collaborate up there. So that's what I learned. So going up there and like really, really checking the temperature, and I was like, maybe not Toronto, but for sure Montreal. But I got to build a strong relationship with my brand ambassador, or now I have several brand ambassadors. Now I have a presence in Canada. People are somewhat familiar with the name, but I can build upon that momentum. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
So traveling is incredibly important. Not just for your going to your factories and all that kind of stuff, but also seeing different regions and then really talking with the people and not assuming, oh, this is what it is because they're a big city. It may not be the right fit for your brand. You just got to go and make that travel. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's definitely not a loss. It's a lesson for sure.
So being in Phoenix, how can we be dapper and not burn with this heat? Like, I mean, it's too much, JC. It's too much.
No, it really
give us some tips.
So you can use, we carry this fabric called gabardines. It's a tropical wool, and gabardines is really used like if you're like you know about Dubai, right? Dubai, Saudi Arabia. Yes. So guys out there, they wear that stuff. The gabardines is, they wear that particular type of for their suits. So it's a breathable tropical wool, so they won't fry. You can also, another way you can do it, you can make your jacket unlined. So most time you open a jacket that has a really, really pretty material inside of it, we can just make it unconstructed and unlined. So, or we can also make it in other types of light fabrics like linen.
Okay.
You can wear a linen suit, and get away with it out here and be fine. Or you can wear seersucker. Seersucker, in the corporate workplace, maybe not so much, but definitely you can wear probably a nice light linen coat, or one of the three, But you can get away with it,
So no excuses.
There's really no excuses. Like I said, I mean, like I said, I was laughing at Tom Ford. And he was doing like a makeover for some guys, and he goes, "Man, I would never give you any of my money, and you're supposed to be an accountant." Homeboy was really sloppy. Mm-hmm. After Tom Ford made him over, he said, "Now I will give you all of my money. Perception is reality."
Right now.
So if you're in those type of industries, if you're a programmer or whatever, that's fine. It's funny on what type of energy you project when you're wearing clothing too. Mm-hmm. Tells me a lot about the person. Women and men can deny it all they want to, but you're marketing. You're saying something without saying it. So it's like, okay, cool. I'm like, okay, okay. You know what I mean? You're shooting out signals.
Yes.
Oh no, I'm not like that.
Right.
I'm not like that type of person. But your clothes say otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
I know people like, I don't want to be judged by my clothes, but sorry, too late.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen every time, all the time. You said to yourself as an HR person, as like a guy came in, his credentials were really on point, but his suit just was a little off.
Right. I know.
And
it's so important.
It's very important.
Okay, JC. So apart from fashion, what other things do you enjoy doing in your, do you have downtime? It doesn't sound like it.
You got jokes. No, no. I like a lot of cool stuff. I love traveling. So traveling, and now also, I like to go out. So what I've learned is I flipped the script. So when I'm going out, I'm building clientele now. That's
okay.
So it's a different
it's a different
motion. Absolutely. So like like last night I built out I made 2 or 3 appointments.
Okay.
Like just going out. And because now that I am getting little bit of exposure and becoming well known now in the Valley and stuff like that, like in
as long as you're still having fun.
I'm having fun. It's okay to have a cocktail and people and guys get excited. They see you coming like, oh man, it's Being Dapper. I know for a fact I'm confident that he's gonna make me something amazing. So and that's good when you walk into a room full of Kappas and they all you know what I mean? Like that happened last night. They were like, hey, that's, like I said, I think that's great. Going out, I like to do like a nice lounge. I love art. And it inspires me. You asked me about my inspirations earlier. Yes. I love going to the art museum. I see a piece and say, hey, how can I take pop culture or, some of my streetwear or some of my lifestyle wear, and apply it to something minimal, something simple, something elegant, right? And apply it to that. I mean, absolutely love the 1920s, 1930s. Great, that reign of time of men's fashion was amazing at that time. And I love that.
So classy.
Love that. So.
Do you hike?
I can't hike now, and I missed my window. But
Yeah.
when it cools down, I like to get active into that. You know, I like to start to do that. I love to go like to Sedona. I like the snow. I love
Sedona.
water. Like boats and just love the water, like the sail and stuff like that. I like sailing is one
At
of my
least
little
you're
hobbies.
finding your balance.
Yeah,
you know?
I do. I like to cook. I like to cook. Love cooking. Like to bake.
Nice.
I'm a baker guy.
Okay.
So,
You hear that, ladies.
got jokes. She's funny. She's a funny lady.
So what else is in the works for you?
For me, bigger marketing presence. Going back, I likely will go back. I have possibly a fashion show. I might do Phoenix Fashion Week. That's on my mind right now. I got to make that decision pretty quick here in a hurry. You know, that would be great to come back. You're graduated now, and you're coming back now. You're established, and it's an honor to be a part of that and to come back. But I definitely will have a booth there for Phoenix Fashion Week in October. I'll be there, but I'll have a presence there for sure.
Great.
So people can buy my goods there Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I got a show, I believe, in Atlanta possibly in September.
Okay.
I have another show with Montreal Fashion Week, or a small boutique Montreal in August. And then Phoenix Fashion Week is in October. So that's up in there. We'll see. But I'm thinking about those two events. And like I said, doing fashion shows that make sense to your brand and the right people that will be there that are going to see it. I'm looking for, you talking about the experience about fashion shows. Well, as a designer, you're looking for a couple of different things. You're looking for folks that will buy your clothing and boutique owners. Okay. So you want to build a relationship with them. It's all about the sale. Yeah. So, you know, if the boutique owners are not going to be there, why you're not going to be there? And you should be writing some business when you're in town, and rather than just, doing a fashion show. And that's what I did. So when I was out there, I did a pop-up shop in my hotel. Very ambitious. Wow. Yeah. I did, went to and had appointments set up with different boutiques out there in Toronto. Again, we shook hands and I made some relationships, but again, it just found out really wasn't really the best fit for, Being Dapper in Toronto, yes, unless I had a brick and mortar. Okay. So like I said, but and other things on the horizon, the ladies wear. Okay. So I do the women's custom suits as well, custom suits and tuxedos, dresses. Everything's by appointment only. We can do it by virtual. We can be here. You don't have to necessarily be in Phoenix. Yes. We just need your measurements. Once I have your measurements, that's the blueprint. Yes. And then from there, we can do a virtual style, and I can show you the different type of styles of suits. Yes.
Especially for a petite.
Absolutely.
It's hard for me to find suits.
Petite or a full figure, the pain struggle is real. Yes. So, or even curvy, so sometimes you have a very slim waist and you're more busty. You have a bigger backside, and then it's really, really, really difficult to find clothes that really, really favor you. So yes, we get all that, and then eventually I'll come out with more of a couture side, like the women's clothing for evening gowns and stuff. And I go our House of Donaldson elegance, that 1930s, 1940s. That era of clothing. I'll be doing a lot of that. I look forward to coming out with. I'm working on the collection now, so it's not really announced. I don't have an exact date, but I hope to have it finished before the year's out and do a fashion show and do a premiere of that. That amazing. Liquor endorsement. I'm like I said, other things I'm trying to do with the brand is, I say influence the influencer. So work with liquor companies, work with cigar companies. Yes. I work with shout out to Beyond Masquerade. Work with them. They did the masquerades for 40 Shades of Grey. Okay. So they work with me sometimes, nice, on shoots and stuff like that for their beautiful masquerades. So Beyond Masquerades, amazing masks. So I appreciate them for that.
You're gonna do great things.
I hope so.
You already are, but I just can see you. You're just like a rising star, and you're just gonna take off.
I'm working on it. I'm being patient. I'm being consistent. I'm taking my time, but also moving strategically with this. I'm bootstrapping, so I'm working. Give them a little bonus and then pour back into the company and so forth. But like I said, I'm a bigger picture type of guy, and and then you're just not going to get there, but you will get there. Tortoise in the hare, same thing. Right. Hare thinks that he can, he's fast, he goes to sleep, and the tortoise actually wins the race. Right. Because even though he was slow, he was consistent. Yes. That's the difference. You know, you have to be consistent. That's it. Like, stay on the path, be consistent. With, and really the premise of my brand, with, the moms out there that are, single moms, they're raising their sons. Also part of being dapper, one of the things is I call it the lost man. A lot of the guys out here just don't know. Your mom can only be mom. She can't be both. She can teach you only so much. Yes. So with being dapper, like I said, I'm not trying to son anybody or be anybody's father, but, I think the tips that I have kind of help close the gap a little bit, folding a pocket square, how to dress as a man, how to conduct yourself as a gentleman. I even think I'll do some more YouTube about like handshakes, looking somebody in the eye.
I think that,
yes, sir, and no,
sir.
idea. Yes. People have gone away from that of respect, just those things do matter. Like I say, it's beyond the clothes, Yes. We always keep saying it, being dapper is a lifestyle, it's everything,
I just know for me, years ago when, I have 2 boys, and when my son was getting ready to go to his middle school dance, I didn't know how to do a tie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, who am I going to call to help me with this?
Yeah.
And I knew then, I'm like, oh my God, like, this is horrible. Yeah,
it's no joke. The dads that are in the children's lives, and or even I call it the co-parenting. That's also good. I hope that work that out. If they're having some issues with the guy, got to work that out. Got to figure that out. Your son and daughter need that, because it's truly missing. Yeah. There's a lot of issues. Women grow up, guys grow up, and you be like, you should know this, but they don't know because they didn't have a dad.
Yeah.
And you can't slight them for that. So it's just like, okay, you know what you know. So it's like, I'm just really blessed that I have that, right? Like the tie, I knew all that stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like and people they like, yeah, I know this. I can tell. I can tell.
It makes a difference.
It makes a world of difference, especially when it's professional temperaments. You're just more flat. I mean, you're just, as a guy, you're just more focused, and you're just a little bit, like your dead handle is like, okay, this is how you handle an argument. If you get, what I mean, it just handle a dispute. You
were blessed to have that in your life.
I mean, being my father's military, as you saw, he's still active.
Still active. Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
good for you, Dad. Is there anything else that you would like to share or add that we haven't touched on today?
No, I think I touched on everything. Why I do what I do. I appreciate you taking the time to interview me.
I appreciate you. Yeah. I learned so much today about fashion and what it takes to be in the mix of it. Yeah,
it's a lot of it's a ton of work. Preparing like you said for like runway. You're preparing all those looks for folks, and it's really runway. It doesn't have to necessarily make sense. It's really a fantasy, but it's also telling a story on the runway. So that's something also that with designers, they should take that into account. I learned that too over time, just watching like other high end brands like Prada and other folks do just telling a story. Right. So that's what I try to do. It's art form. I think that's what real runway is. High fashion is that it's telling a story. It doesn't have to be. It can be a little crazy, over the top, and telling a story, being authentic. Yes. And
you've mentioned authentic so many times today. That's so important.
It's It's very important. It's like, I think that many people will just be, they're just, let me turn a profit, and it's like, okay, they're hot today and they're gone tomorrow. Right. Yeah, there's many brands like that. You can name. I used to wear. Where they at today? Right. They started off really good, but they're not. They're no longer there. Like I said, they're always in for the cash, so they're not in for the people and the passion.
Well, thank you. What is the best way for people that are listening and want to reach out to you? Where can they find you?
Instagram, you can get me on Being Dapper. So there's BEING _ Dapper, DAPPER. Twitter is Being Dapper. Facebook, same thing, Being Dapper. So, but they do different things. So you want to see all the new products, you would follow Instagram. Anything new that I'm coming up, I'm always posting on the Instagram stories and stuff like product development. Photo shoots, that kind of stuff. If you're looking to just hear my thoughts, get motivated, I crank out something on Twitter all the time about my feelings about the industry. Eventually, you can also subscribe to Being Dapper on YouTube as we ramp up our channel. We'll be ramping up our channel for the remaining of the year, coming out with different how-to videos.
Yes.
And just little.
I'm subscribing to that.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. I appreciate that. And then Facebook is the old school. That's where we started. Is where the fashion blog is.
Okay.
So that's just Being Dapper. You'll find it. It's a top hat, a bow tie, a cane, and an umbrella. Yeah, okay. You can't miss it. You'll know. You're like, oh yeah, that's the logo. So I think those were all the items of a gentleman, right?
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much for giving us some golden nuggets in regards to fashion and what it takes to be in it. And hopefully, that you can come back.
Absolutely.
Well, when you get too big on me, you might.
No, I will definitely. We'll talk again. And
yes, absolutely.
I know. And customers, if you guys with the show, if you heard me on the show and I can give you a special discount and give you 20% off. Let me know. If you say, hey, you know what, I heard you on the show and I want a suit or want an item, I'll give you 20% off. Just let you know. Let me know that you heard me on this podcast and I'll extend that out to you. So like I said, we can do the styling for you. We can do the suits, ladies and men. And also we do the custom shoes. Okay. So let us know.
Thank you, JC.
Okay.
Thank you for listening. Please visit the website at www.leveluptribes.com. And please subscribe to the podcast and share with your family and friends. Be sure to tune in to our next episode. Catch you all next time, my beloved tribes.